Jeannie, and I've got some more Party Jeannie tips for you on how to do food and beverage at your party in a stress-free and smart way. So let's start with something that everybody loves, the bar. So when you're having an event, no matter the size, really consider having a simple bar menu. I mentioned earlier that I really do think people should actually hire a bartender. Doesn't have to be a professional one, but someone that's going to be capable of serving drinks to your guests. Now, I like to have like a theme cocktail for an event, the holiday theme cocktail, and that can be your opportunity to serve an actual liquor. I really think it's important to par down your list because it's really easy for shopping for it, replenishing, and then also you don't need to have a lot of options. If you have all these different options, unless you're really having a theme of like stock the bar kind of party, you're gonna then have to have a lot of garnishes. And you're gonna have to have someone that knows how to make all of those types of drinks. And the idea is to make this simple and fun and easy. So do a signature cocktail for the evening. Then it's the holidays. Just go with bubbles. Do a cava, a prosecco, or a champagne. Keep it simple. Don't have to have a lot of options. You can maybe discreetly have an option of wine unless you're a wine person and don't like bubbles. I personally like bubbles. Now the other thing is to have enough beverages for people that don't want to imbibe. So have some waters, have some sodas. Here's a little pro tip. Diet sodas do have an expiration date. Make sure you look at the bottom because if they've passed their prime, they're not going to be tasty. Anyway, getting back to the bar, simple, have it in a space that's not necessarily on top of the food. You want to create a flow in your home. You want to have guests move around and socialize with other people that they might not do. If you keep it close to the food, then people are just stuck in that one area. Nobody wants to be tethered to the buffet. I mean, unless you're like me who really likes dip, and that's generally at the buffet. But have the bar somewhere else. Think about in terms of your home where you want the traffic to flow. Now, people are walking around with empties, with bottles, with glasses. I often use these kind of vintage Coke crates. They're really simple. You put them in a discreet area. You can maybe even set it up with one dirty glass so that people can put their stuff away because most likely your guests really want to be helpful. They're not born in the barn. They want to make sure that they can clean up after themselves and they don't want to inconvenience you. So if you leave them out and then it's super easy, you just have to pick it up, take it to the kitchen, dispose of it, bring it out, clean again, and it's a really easy way for you to get rid of some garbage during the course of the evening. Now, the other thing is paper products. I leave this apple crate, which actually often is my paper recycling bin, but I will tuck it underneath the buffet or somewhere close by, but discreet as well. And it's for people to put their paper products in as garbage. You don't need to have a trash can. Have something that's attractive, have something that works with theme. This works for me. Anyway, again, people want to be able to help you, and you don't also, in smaller homes, you don't want to have a lot of traffic in the kitchen. If you're still preparing things and you're restocking stuff on the buffet, you don't need a lot of people traipsing through to find the garbage can. And you don't necessarily need a garbage can in the dining room. Now, getting to the buffet itself, you got to make sure that you can see every angle of it. If you've got multiple entries into a space where you're serving food, you want to make sure that when you're setting it up, that there's enough space around. So like when I entertain in my own home, I generally shift the table somewhere else than what I normally keep it during the week. People can access it from behind, both sides, and then when you're doing that, you also, in setting up your decor for the table, you want to make sure that you're looking at it from all the different angles. You want to build up height. You want to keep the center like the tallest point, and also so that people can't push things down and, well, you know, things spill. Anyway, so cake stands are a great way to actually create some height and also serve a function of serving your food. You can use things as risers to have regular plates. You can use books. You can use vases filled with something underneath and create different layers and levels. But with the cake stands, I love them. They're great. And they're excellent surface. Now the thing is, you can also not just put freestanding food, you can also put things that people can pick up and take from them, such as this glass. Now this glass isn't for drinking, this is serving a cold soup at my party. And if you're serving a warm soup, you want to have a cup, whether it's like a coffee mug, or I wouldn't go with espresso. I would probably do something bigger because you want to give them somewhat of a serving, but you can have that so that someone can hold it in their hands, have a little dish for their appetizers, and walk around and circulate. So that's a way of utilizing height, but also having it kind of come down during the party, and you don't necessarily have to restock it. Then you can eliminate one of the cake stands when it's empty. Another thing that's really easy, and when you don't serve normally for such a large group of people, you've got to get creative with serving stuff that you have. So if you are someone that drinks espresso and you have espresso sets, why don't you take the espresso cup and make it into its own little crudité. You could line the bottom with some dip, and then you could add some vegetables that are cut in sticks, so like carrots or string beans or celery, or maybe even like lengthwise cucumbers, and then they have the dip in the bottom, they have this tiny little cup, and then you also have the saucer to use for other hors d'oeuvres. And it's really easy to handle. You can have a drink in one hand, this in the other, and it allows you to interact with your guests and flow through the party. So these are my Party Genie hints. There's lots more to talk about, but right now I just want you to focus on getting the garbage out of your home and thinking of really interesting, creative ways to serve the food at the buffet.